Hey everybody, it's Dave here from the Reserve Pool, and this is a quick little Dave Thinks editorial segment. There have been some posts on Reddit and Board Game Geek and, well, really other places since the inception of Dice Masters where people are discussing house rules. I have some pretty specific opinions on house rules, not just related to Dice Masters, but also related to gaming in general. As a rule, I don't like them. I think that if you're using house rules extensively, you probably don't actually like the game that much, and that's okay. I don't think you should have to like the game. There are so many awesome games out there. I know, I mean, they're here. I have some of them. I don't have the collection that some do, but I have some of them. There are so many great games out there that I think it's a waste of your own time, frankly, and a little bit of disrespect to yourself by wasting your time trying to make a game that doesn't work for you work for you. There's gonna be one out there that does. Now, some of the specific house rules that are out there I think are pretty strange. For example, there was the one that was recently posted about on Reddit where somebody was talking about how the place was going to ban the Professor X because of the global. Of course, that's the one that lets you pay to move two sidekicks from your used pile into your prep area. That benefits both players the same. I don't see the logic. Now, that same tournament had a thing where the second player got to roll 5 dice, and maybe they realized that, well, that player could, if they had that global, that player could, you know, have a regular buy with the 4 dice and then also save that extra one to use Professor X, and so they decided that they just didn't work together and they let it out. I don't know. I don't know the reason for it. That's the logic, that's the benefit of the doubt that I'll give them. But as a rule, I don't enjoy house rules. I think that they tend to do more harm than good because now you have people who know different ways of playing games. The only house rule, there's always an exception, right? The only house rule we will ever use is having a hand of tiles in Carcassonne. I know purists hate that, and I know it sort of goes against what I just said, but there's a good reason. My wife loves Carcassonne. I don't really like Carcassonne that much, but I like it a little better like that, and I want to be able to play Carcassonne with her, and she is okay with that rule. So she wants to play Carcassonne with me, we play it. We just tweak it a little bit so that it's fun for the both of us. Now, little tweaks like that, I don't think they're a big deal. But when you go as far as to adjust the costs of characters, to completely ban specific cards, specific characters from the game, to change die limits or other things like that, I don't know. I think it's a waste of your own time. And I mean that honestly. We all have... Our time is valuable to all of us as people with jobs and families and as gamers, because again, there are so many good games. So if Dice Masters doesn't work for you, that's all right. Not every game works for me. I think that you should find the ways you can to enjoy playing it, but I don't think you should bend over backwards to do it either. Because then you introduce it to somebody else and you have those house rules in, and then they go, and now what they have is a completely different experience than what they thought they were getting. It becomes not the same game. That's where I have trouble too with some of the promotions and other things that come out, promo items maybe with Kickstarters. If it fundamentally changes the game, I hate that, because now you have people from different groups, one who kickstarted it and one who bought it retail, and somebody going between them is going to think the game is maybe fairly well different than it is. Maybe it forces a different kind of strategy. So again, for gaming in general, I don't like them. You know, you can say what you will about Monopoly, but its entire tarnished reputation is because of house rules. Think about that. Nowhere printed in the rule book is what makes Monopoly quite so terrible as people think that it is. It's not a great game, but I own a few copies of it. I got Monopoly Star Wars and Electronic Banking Edition right up there. I'll play it. I don't mind, but that's because I've always played with the auctions. I've never played with free parking. I've never played with bonuses for landing on go and all those sorts of things. And it's a better game when you give it those kind of chances. Now, a lot's been said about Monopoly, but I think that when you let Monopoly is an example of what happens when house ruling goes amok. And that's crazy. Not that, you know, other games these days with modern design, the base game is going to be better than the base game of Monopoly. I'm not saying Monopoly is the pinnacle of anything. but it is the poster child for what happens when house ruling goes insane. So just some thoughts for you. Remember, with the tourney rules, with WizKids and Dice Masters, the venue has to make that the house rules known with ample time beforehand for the people who may go to the tournament. You do have some legitimate complaints if they are not advertised or published in the proper way. That you are supposed to know if it's an official event. That's all on there, and you can find that on the tournament rules. And I recommend that you do look those up, because there are some crazy house rules that are out there. Some of them I can see where they're coming from, but in general, I'm not a huge fan, and I know that a lot of others aren't, given the feedback that I've seen in those kinds of threads on Reddit, on Board Game Geek, and also in our own comment section. All right, I've blathered on enough for you. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, we have our podcast every Thursday. Check out our website, thereservepool.com. Give us a subscribe. It's somewhere down there. I'm too new to YouTube to know where it is, so somewhere where my finger will stop, we're going to assume is the subscribe button. And, and that's about it. I will see you again soon. Thank you, and keep on playing Dice Masters.